Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to create your station slides themselves. This is where, to me, you get the most bang for your buck with using a PowerPoint presentation, because there's a lot of copying and pasting, so that the creation itself doesn't take a very long time, but you're going to find that it makes the rotations themselves, the transitions between your different things, really very quick and easy. So again, I'm just going to add a new slide I went ahead and added a new slide here. Put the title of this one is rotation 1. It helps me if I label them as rotation 1 and 2 because they do look very similar. I added a table in here, and I already just entered in with each of the 4 stations that the students are going to do what their tasks are, because this will stay up through the entirety of their independent time, so that they are very clear within their station what they're supposed to be doing. I also try to, because for my purposes, I have 2 stations, the reading and writing station and the spelling and grammar station, which require my students to be writing and doing something on paper individually. And so I try to split those stations up a little bit so they're not just moving from one writing station to another writing station. And then the teacher table in between them will be working with me, and then after they complete one of the writing stations, they will go on to the computers. The iReady is on the computer. And so you'll see for that one, it's a very simple goal. They don't have a lot of things they have to do because all they have to do is log into the iReady reading program, and it guides them right through the lesson. So their goal is just to complete one entire lesson in their amount of time to be able to do that. Okay, so the first thing I want to show you is once you've created this table, it's very simple to create that table. I'm going to show you how to add in this type of a box for your students. So all I'm going to do is come up here to my insert. I want to go to shapes, and I'm choosing, for my purposes, a rounded rectangle. That's just something I like. And then you just want to start, you're going to click on, for me, I always click on the upper left of what I want to create, and then I'll just drag it down to be the size that I want, something like that. Now, I don't like it to be so dark, so I like to choose a different type of a thing. I think I created something like this coloring, maybe a darker colored outline, just so it's kind of subtle. Okay, so now to insert text within that, once I've clicked on the box itself, I'm just going to go up here to Home, make sure that I have the color chosen that I want to type in, and then I just start typing my text. I can put whatever I want to. For this particular one, I already knew I use my student numbers. My students know their numbers, so it makes it easy for me to be able to do it without students focusing on who's in what group. I can go in and underline a certain part of it and have it just, kind of come out similar to the one I created here, just the way I want that. Now, what's really cool about this is then you can take this finished product. I'm going to go ahead and delete this one that I just created and show you. You can take the one that you've already finished here, and I can right click and copy this. I'm going to show it again. Right click again and paste it. Using that destination theme is the easiest. Move it over, and now I can actually edit this to create different student numbers on here. So I can go in and create, it might be students numbers 2 and 5 and 7, something like that. So however, what other student numbers that I might have, and then I can even change the background color of that so that each student will know. For my students, it helps them to be able to know their number, their color that they're in. So I can go into my shape itself, and I can actually change that fill to a different color. Like I might make this group purple, for example, just like a darker purple outline, so that it makes it to where that they know they're the purple group. And so you'll see when I go and add those in, I'm going to have a different group within each box there. Okay, so this is what I've done by adding all of the different groups in according to the student numbers that are needed. And it was really simple once you create that first box to just change the student numbers and the colors of individual boxes, and it makes it quick and easy. And so I also like to help my students to know what station they're going to next. And so that is something that I use to create that I am. In this particular case, I'm going to add, you can use different kinds of arrows. There's just different types of tools for that. Let's say that I want to create some sort of an arrow like this, and I can create something like that, create that arrow. You can then duplicate it, copy that arrow, paste it again, and then move it down here, and you can actually use this little rotation here. Put that in so that the students know, paste it again. We just continue to do that for each one, and then this time they'll be moving from that station over to this one. Trickiest part is trying to get it sort of straight so that they can see there, and then I might add one more there here so that they can see what station they're going to next at each transition. So it makes it really easy for them as one station closes up that they'll know they can look ahead on the screen to see what are they moving to, and they can have their materials ready to transition. Again, that's another part of what the purpose of this was created to do, which was to make that transition more smooth, more efficient time-wise especially. And so by having something like that, the students have no question of what they're doing from one rotation to the next. Okay, so I actually found a more subtle arrow that I liked better, just to show you where I found that one. Is this little chevron here that I liked better. It was a little less invasive on all of the details, made the screen itself a little less busy. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to add in your timer that's going to show right up on the screen. So I'm going to go up to my insert again, and if you'll come all the way over to the right, you can click on insert video. And for my case, I want to use an online video. And I'm going to search YouTube for it. And I might want like a 20-minute video, for example. A timer itself is what I'm looking for. And so you're just going to choose one. I like this one. It's nice and the numbers are clear. It's pretty much the whole video itself. Some of them it doesn't show the different numbers very clear. I like that it's colorful, so I'll just click on insert. Now the video itself, I don't need it quite so big, so using the same method as I used to condense that screenshot of the spelling words, I'm going to go over to my format screen, crop that just a little bit because it's going to give it almost like a landscape look. I don't need it to be quite so big, so I can actually bring that down just a little bit. Click off of it again, and then I need to make it just a little bit smaller. What I'm actually going to do is make this video come up here on my top right. I don't want it to cover up my student directions, but I want it large enough that they can easily see how much time they have left within them. And so there it's going to create it. Now, once you actually show the slideshow itself, it will allow you to be able to show that video once you get to that screen, and I'll show you how to do that in just a minute. Okay, so here's one of the best parts about this is that once you've done the work to create this station rotation screen one time, you can actually just copy the entire thing. If you click on the slide itself and just click on duplicate slide, it'll give you an identical slide again the second time, and now all I need to do is change this to rotation number 2, and then I'll change my students. If you'll watch, I'll pull this box up and I'll move this one. This set of students will have gone up to this station. This set of students will move over. That blue group will move over to the reading and writing station. My purple group will come down to I Ready. And then this yellow group will be over in the spelling and grammar station. So see how simple it is just to be able to create that. And I'm going to do that again each time. I just right click on the slide itself, duplicate the slide, and everything will stay the same. And all I have to do again, this one is going to go to 3 and just move these boxes again, knowing that following those arrows, that blue group will move up, the purple group will move over. Very simple. And once you have done this entire process, each day that you go to change, your particular skills within these boxes, this is really easy to change. So I'm going to do that one more time. Make my last rotation here. Make this rotation 4, and then move these boxes one last time. So this is just a really simple, easy way to go through this. And you're going to see in just a minute when we go through the entire slideshow itself, what a great thing this makes, how efficient it makes your entire stations. Now, like this time, for example, this group was a larger group, so it covered up my last little chevron here that I wanted to show. So if you'll right click on that chevron itself, and I can click on bring it to the front, and that'll make it go back in front of that, which doesn't affect the student numbers at all. So that's that. I'm going to just create a closure slide by going to my new slides again. I'm going to create a new slide itself just as a closure for my students, and I'll show you that in just a moment. So here I've created a closure slide for my students. After all of their 4, you'll see I've got the station rotation 1, 2, 3, 4 slides. And then I go through and I like to just kind of wrap up with my students. What did they find within their individual groups? That's important to kind of touch bases back with them so that you know that they were on task within those groups. And we do a quick wrap up of our day. I just inserted a quick picture. You noticed, I'm sure, that I didn't create a lot of didn't add a lot of additional pictures to the individual slides, just because I like to keep them simple, basic, focusing on the content itself. This one this is a Bitmoji of myself actually, that I just inserted in there, which is super simple to do. And so you've got your closure right here. So now is where I'm going to show you the actual slideshow itself and how it works with your embedded videos and things like that. Okay, so I'll go back up to my first slide, and we're going to click on slideshow itself. Okay, so you'll go through, again, when you're doing this within your class, you click through each one of these as you're teaching with your students, again, working with the individual slides, adding through your different, sorry, I clicked that one a little too fast, you couldn't see the animation there, adding in your different levels of skills that you need. And so then here's your station rotation itself. Now you'll see on my first slide, it takes just a minute. You have to wait for that to show up. And because of the screen capture content, let me see if I can move that up just a little bit for you. The screen capture won't show you the whole thing, but I can actually click now on this video, and it'll actually start the video within that station rotation. And I'll move my mouse away and the little YouTube stuff will disappear. And it helps me as I'm sitting there with my students and we're in rotation 1, I can easily glance at that screen. Even though it's a very small video screen right here, it's easy for students all over the room to be able to tell how much time is left at that station. It helps them stay on task. It helps me to focus more within my group on what I'm doing with them at my teacher table, so that I don't have to be, counting down my time and trying to figure out how much time I have left. And so if I click through to my next one, again, it's going to go to my station rotation 2. It's going to show my students where they've moved and being able to see all of them. And again, that just takes just a minute for that video to activate itself. And I click on it again, and it's going to start right back over for the students so that they can see. And we do this with rotation 3 and rotation 4. And each time, if you give it just a second, once you click on that screen, it'll make it available for you to show that video, and then I click on that wrap up and closure.